Hello, welcome to another episode of the Horror Vision. My name is Sean,
And I am Anthony the asshole.
I'm John.
I'm Missy.
I'm Ray.
and we're going to give our best of 2025 today. So I asked everybody to come to the table with, if you have five, fine. If you have 10, five. We're going to each talk about five. And then if there's some time left over, we can talk about the others, runners up, honorable mention. I guess that's the same thing, said two different ways, whatever. So anyway, these are our favorite and or what we deem were the best horror movies or horror adjacent movies this year. Anthony,
Hey.
so start us off. If you're, we're gonna go round robin. If you're doing your top five, start at five, do five, and then we'll rotate around, and then we'll do four. You know that whole thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna start at five, and the honorable mentions I can save till later. So yeah, that's fine. Number five is weapons, and it's fallen down the list a bit, just because other things have come out that have piqued my attention, and upon subsequent watches of weapons, it's just kind of I don't know what it was that happened, that it just kind of started to become lackluster. It's not a bad movie, but it is definitely a solid five on the list. I think taking it off the list would just be criminal at this point. And I mean, again, we all support the director and want him to continue on with more craziness. In fact, there's speaking of craziness, we just got word today that Barbarian might be going to Criterion, so we'll find out about that in like the coming days. But yeah, number five, weapons.
I haven't heard of this movie. Who did this?
Oh, what is his name?
I'm just
Robbie
kidding.
Krieger.
I'm
Robbie
just
Krieger.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, John. You're doing five. You start with your number five.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my number five, I would also file this under most pleasant surprise of 2025, and that's Ben Leonberg's Good Boy, and which is a film that unfortunately, I didn't see it in the theater when it came. It's like I was going to, maybe I wasn't sure about it, and then by the time I really kind of made up my mind to do it after hearing you guys talk about it, it just kind of came and went. I got it on Shutter later, and I thought this is a very original film. Everything, everything about it, I just found very intriguing, even though on paper I felt like it didn't intrigue me before. But yeah, number five, Good Boy, and most pleasant surprise of 2025.
I will say I didn't feel like I knew what Good Boy was, and I know the trailer was viewed so much that they actually extended the theatrical rollout. So that's just on my hatred for trailers and giving away too much. But it wasn't there long. It was there longer than I expected, and I think that's great because I think it's a solid film. So, very good choice. And I was happy when you saw it because I think you just kind of like apropos of nothing. We're like, oh, I'm going to watch something tonight. I think it had just hit Shutter, and I think it caught your eye, and you jumped in. And I remember you were your reaction made me happy because you're like, oh my God, this is like fantastic.
Yeah, no. That my I went into Shutter that night with kind of an agenda, and that agenda just melted away like within the first 5 minutes of Good Boy.
That's awesome. Missy, what's your number five?
Clown in a Cornfield, directed by Eli Craig, and starring Katie Douglas and Carson McCormick and Vincent Muller. I unapologetically love this movie. I think it's a really fun drive-in movie. I wish I could have caught it that way when it opened because its opening week it played drive-ins. I don't have any, but I think it's a fun 80s style slasher for the modern day and a new generation. Um, it doesn't try to be anything it's not, but I think it's really fun, and it's like what Friday the 13th were to me growing up. This could be for the younger generation, and it doesn't hold back on the gore. It it's just a really fun watch, and I adore it. I've probably seen it a dozen times at this
Wow,
point.
wow. And you really like the books as well, right? You've read all three, I think.
I haven't read the third one. I love this. I like the first one. I love the second one. and I really enjoyed the movie.
Interesting. I like that you compare it to the, like this generation's Friday the 13th.
It's definitely geared for them. It might be a little too violent to be considered gateway horror, but
Well, so with the Friday the 13th. I mean, at that time,
Right.
we look at them now and they're pretty much almost toothless in a way, but at the time, people were losing their minds, right? Like, oh my
Right.
God.
No, I would feel like this is gateway horror for sure. Like
yeah, I think
I mean, I forget what
Compared to
it was.
Terrifier, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
that's
Like,
fair.
My nephew, who's not like into horror movies at all, like he was hanging out with his friends one night, and I forget what they ended up watching, but they wanted to find Terrifier 2, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, I looked at when I had the conversation with him afterward, I was like, I'm kind of glad you didn't find that, because that is a fucking rough movie to jump in on horror. I forget what he ended up watching, but I was like, oh, okay, that's okay. And like, oh, Smile. They ended up watching
that
Smile.
works.
And like my sister says that when she came home, because they were sitting at, he's like 15, so it was like him and 3 of his friends, and they left them there. And my sister comes home, and she said all 4 of these boys were like sitting there like bunched in next to each other, like terrified of this movie as they're watching it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm glad that you didn't. I was like, I talked to him after, and I was like, yeah, that's a rough movie to get into right away. I'm like, so I gave him other titles. I was like, try this with your friends. Try this. I was like, Terrifier is advanced. Like that's pretty rough. Like Clown in the Cornfield again is something that if he'd watched, I'd been like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because it is like, I know what you mean. Like it feels rough, but like it's not rough by today's standards. I feel like
no.
it's rough by an older standard that we don't exist in anymore. But I think it's fine. It's a fun
Right.
movie for sure. Plus, it's
I agree.
fun. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
cruel.
super fun.
It doesn't feel like needlessly mean.
Yes, agreed.
No, it's fun and campy, and
Yeah, exactly.
I like it a whole lot.
Ray.
Well, I don't have them in any particular order, but I'll go with number
It's
5
fine.
being Weapons. I think, like Anthony said, like it does. I think part of it is that like it doesn't have the same effect after the first time you watched it, and I think part of it is because it does have that midpoint twist. When you see it the first time, you're like, oh wow, I thought this was one movie, and now it's turned into something else. But it is entertaining. The violence is pretty spectacular, like in the way it's presented. It has a great villain at its core, and you know, once you realize what's happening, like you realize how harrowing the story is for one character in particular, and you're just like, Jesus, like it really kind of bugs you, like how much this one character is going through. Like there's characters that are going through that one character. It's just holy shit, this damn, like, and but it's I've seen it now like 2 or 3 times, and I still think it's quality. I think it's a good movie, and I want that, like Anthony said, I want that director to keep making movies. Like I want him to keep putting stuff out. Like he keeps surprising me, and when he puts out, and it's good.
Yeah, I think I don't think the movie became lackluster, but I know, Anthony and Ray, what you mean. And here's the thing, like there's like, I equate it to certain bands where like, it's just a given that every album is going to be fucking fantastic. So it's almost just like, how do I even, if that's always going to be, if they're going to make an album every year, it's always going to be number 1. So let's just remove them from the equation. I just feel like in 2 movies, Zach Krieger has proved like I'm gonna love everything he does. So it's not lackluster as far as like it takes away from the film, but it's lackluster as far as like, okay, moving along, right? I don't know.
Exactly.
My 1 through 5 is I'll run them off at the end very quickly. Won't talk about any of them. I want to talk about the back half, 10 through 6. So I'm starting with 10. And 10 is Mike P. Nelson, Silent Night, Deadly Night. I don't know if it was just a fucking amazing scene of Nazis getting killed by the dozens in terrible ways, because that always warms, the heart. But I fucking loved this movie, and I've gone on record multiple times. I'm not a fan of the original. It has its place in exploitation history, and I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I don't know. I saw it later in life. I'm like, fine, whatever. Um, this was something special, and I just really liked it. And yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night, Mike P. Nelson. That's my number 10. Anthony, 4. So I'm
4 was
throwing
good.
off the order here. It's like
Yeah,
10,
it's
now
all good.
4.
4 was Good Boy. I'm not gonna lean into it too much. I've said 1,000 times before about films that have merit and have heart, and this is definitely one of them. You already know what went into it. As far as making the film, it was shot over 4 years, meticulously, and in my opinion, relatively flawlessly. It's fucking amazing. I love the film. Um, Had a great takeaway experience from seeing it theatrically, and I can't wait to own it on physical. And yeah, there's not enough good things to say about this movie. There's a lot to say about this movie, and it's yeah, that's it. I'm not going to go into it anymore, and we'll push it along.
Right on. John, number 4.
Sinners. Uh, what to say about this film that hasn't already been said? I'm working on a project right now about sound and history in film, and it's called Acoustic Shadows. And
Ooh.
Sinners was the first film that cropped into my mind because that's really exactly what this is all about, like acoustic shadows stretching throughout time and how they how music carries messages to us. I've always just sort of felt like, that sticker that Woody Guthrie had on his guitar that said, "This machine kills fascists." I think that could probably be the tagline for this film. Um, and yeah, I've always loved what Ryan Coogler, has done ever since I saw Fruitvale Station. And yeah, his believe his first foray into horror, or it feels weird to call it a horror because it's not really scary in the slightest, but yeah, it's just amazingly well done, and it's just one of those films that really kind of gives you hope of people keeping the theatrical experience alive. So yeah, Sinner's my number 4.
Well said. Missy.
Black Phone 2, directed by Scott Derrickson. I think Scott Derrickson just nails how to do other worlds, and I love how they do the dream world in this movie and shoot it on Super 8 film. I think Black Phone 2 is a great balance between the shit that scares us and the stuff that's fun, and it's still got some grit to it too. We have a full episode on it if you want to hear more in depth, but if you like the first one, I think the second one is even better than the first one, and it's a really immersive, fun watch.
Agreed. Ray, 4.
Again, I think I just have like a 5. I don't have like a number 4, but Strange Harvest. It's a great little indie film. I saw it in the theater. I actually just rewatched it today because I thought about like my list, and I was like, that would be on my list. And I decided, let me see if I can find it on anything in it and see if it's out there. And it's on Hulu, or if you have Disney Plus with Hulu, you can watch it that way too. And I enjoyed watching it as much as I did the first time. And it's interesting because it's this fictional account of a serial killer in San Bernardino, California, with a cosmic kind of edge to it. I was worried going in, like the second time, like, oh, maybe it'll feel like old because I already saw this the first time, so I already know how it ends and everything like that. But it still felt really cool and engaging, and the format's interesting. It adds an element to it that I don't think happens a lot in horror, which is it reminds us that there's actually like real people doing these things out in the world, and that like there's real victims and consequences. But it's very like engaging, and it's really entertaining, and it has a real like once you get like to the halfway point and you kind of see what's going on with this killer, and what his methods are, and what he seems to be working towards. It has a real Benson and Moorhead kind of like cosmic twist to it that's really good. And it's a great little film. It's this little indie movie that got made, and it's entertaining as fuck, and it's definitely worth watching.
Sold. Yeah, I tried to see it in the theater. It was there for a very, very brief period of time, and I missed it. I was bummed. I didn't know it was on Hulu, so that's good to
it
know.
was like maybe 2 weeks, and
It
like
wasn't.
I just was looking one day. I was like in the middle of the summer. I had a day off. I looked, and I saw there was that movie and something else, and I went, let's go check this out. Like little indie horror movie, and I was like, this is great. Like I walked out of the theater when I think I was the only person there, but I was like, this is not bad at all.
Going on the list. Okay. So my number 9, Elric Kane's The Dead Thing. Relationship horror. Elric Kane is a personality from formerly the Shockwaves podcast and now Colors of the Dark. And if you've listened to any of these podcasts, you know how he's just got a very strong sense of what he likes, why he likes it. He's able to talk about it very, in depth. And he had been alluding. I don't even have time to listen to the podcast anymore. I haven't listened to it in at least a year, but he had been alluding to making this film for some time, and then he was making it, and I was just like, man, I think this movie's just going to be great. And sometimes we get the person who understands film could talk about it, but when they get behind the camera, it doesn't really. You're like, really? I think we had an example of that this year. But this movie, it is exactly what I would have expected, and I just loved it. I thought it was it left a very deep impression, and I thought all of the acting was great, the directing was fantastic, script was great, cinematography, it takes its time. There's some possession undertones, but not a lot. I mean, but yeah, I thought it was amazing. So yeah, Elric Kane's The Dead Thing, my number 9. Anthony.
My number 3 is Brian Fuller's Dust Bunny. This one snuck in at the buzzer. So glad we took the time to go and check it out theatrically. Beautifully stylized, incredibly well acted. Mads Mikkelsen is fantastic. The young girl in the film, she's outstanding. Her name escapes me at the moment. It's definitely one that I can't wait to see again. I only got to see it the one time, and I really wished I would have went back and seen it just one more time to get that full experience again. It's just something special. It's a gateway horror, and I think despite it having an R rating, I think purely for language, there hasn't been that much this year as far as that goes. Um, you could talk about the killer robot animal movies or Sketch. Sketch was actually pretty good. But this one I think has definitely left a lasting impression, and I can't wait to see it again and share it with more people. It's beautiful. It really is. And yeah, Dust Bunny is fucking awesome, and that's why it's my number 3.
John.
Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. It was nice to see one of my favorite novels of all time done justice, even though, which is interesting because the adaptation is not incredibly faithful. But yeah, this is, I've loved Del Toro since the first time I saw Devil's Backbone. And I feel that this has been the North Star he's been grasping towards ever since, and it's nice to finally see him achieve that and be part of it and see it on the big screen.
Do you think now that this North Star is out of the way, the next North Star is possibly the Mountains of Madness?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I mean, if yeah, Jodorowsky can't pull that off, Guillermo del Toro will.
I think it's better that it's gone on this long too, because remember, like at some point when he was originally attached, there was talk of like Tom Cruise being. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I tend to, yeah. Anyway, dodge a bullet, Missy.
My number 3 is also Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Um, I hate period pieces. If you do too, you may enjoy this movie because it sucked me in and I fell in love with it. Nobody knows how to immerse us the way Guillermo del Toro does. And he loves this creature and he makes us love it too.
Yeah,
And the movie is it's beautiful, it's stunning and completely immersive, and it'll sweep you away.
agreed. Ray.
Honestly, the same thing. I'm gonna say Frankenstein as well. Just to add, I mean, it's beautifully acted. It's well directed. It isn't faithful to the well, it's faithful to the spirit of the novel, and like you get the concept of like the loneliness and just sadness this character feels, and the manic um obsession of Frankenstein. And it just looks amazing. He has made so many films, and I said it the first time after I saw it, and I still think it now. It's probably the most gothic film I think I've ever seen him make. And it's, I mean, maybe one of the most gothic movies I've ever seen. Like it just has this look and quality that is amazing. It just oozes that gothic feel, and it's just so well done. So yeah, I'd have to say number 3 as well.
Right on. My number 8, Joe Begos, Jimmy and Stiggs. This movie, I have some similar uh, hesitations about. Well, there's stuff in Christmas Buddy Christmas with the dialogue where I'm like, I feel like somebody should have been like, I don't know, rope this in a little bit. But he doesn't have that. He is a pure fucking creator. So I go with it. And also, I'll probably never love anything he does as much as I love Mind's Eye and Bliss and then VFW. But this is just a force of fucking nature. I mean, 2 guys, an apartment, gallons and gallons and gallons of blood, animatronic aliens, drugs, booze. I've never seen anything like this. And you can make some comparisons, but they'd be to movies that had much bigger budgets and did a lot more with it. And that's not what this was. This was a COVID movie, right? So, I mean, the fact that this guy made this movie this way just it typifies what I love about him. I've loved since I saw Almost Human. I mean, that was a movie. My friend Tommy, who does the Heaven is an Incubator blog, he had posted about it way back, and I saw it, and I was like, oh my god! And then was first in line to get in to see Mind's Eye at Beyond Fest, and I know Ray, you were at that screening, as were some of our other friends, and I think you guys were like, what is this movie? I'm like, just fucking trust me, and. Just ever since then, man, he's a force of nature, and I love everything he does. So, yeah, Jimmy and fucking Stiggs, man.
I have not had an opportunity to watch this yet, but a question for you, because there's so much of what I have seen of his. Well, I think I've seen everything up to date except for that I can see who the directorial influence is on that particular film and each film. Who do you feel like is that for this movie? Possibly.
I mean, there's the obvious, like people always, and it's right on. A movie I haven't seen in a very long time, but made an impression. Bad Taste. There's like the Peter Jackson, just complete.
Oh, okay.
That Raimi, but I mean, it's Begos becomes a sharper tool the more that he makes films, and that's the thing. It's like. I mean, maybe some of the dialogue is a little bit over the top sometimes, but it doesn't fucking matter because also, like, this is exactly how these two go. When you see it, this is how these two guys would behave 100% in this environment, and nobody can say different. So I don't know. It's hard to answer that question without kind of sidestepping it a little bit. So forgive me, but I don't know if it's streaming on anything yet. Which actually blows my mind now that I think about it. I don't know how that's happened. The Blu-ray is available from, well, Anthony, Vinegar Syndrome, right? Is that where?
Vinegar.
Yeah. So I've watched it once in the theater and I think twice at home. But it'll be on something eventually.
It's on Prime as a rental.
Okay.
You can rent it on Prime.
It'll be included with something at some fucking. But also, I mean, if you have the money, if you know, it's worth contributing to it as a DIY. I mean, this is as DIY as it fucking gets, and you know, like, I mean, oh my god, it's yeah, it's a force of nature again. So yeah, Jimmy and
You
Steak.
can rent it on quite a few things, and oh shit, actually, you can rent it right now for just 99 cents on Apple TV. Because everyone else is like, it's the same price as to own, but it's 99 cents on.
I mean, the only thing, you know, I will just say as a public service announcement, I am not buying anything digitally ever again. I almost bought weapons the other night digitally, but you know what happened to me this year? I went to watch Charlie Brown Christmas, which I bought digitally a couple years ago on Prime. Don't have it anymore. They lost the rights. It's on. I was able to watch it on Apple TV, but that's the thing. When you buy something digital, you don't own it, because if whoever you bought it from loses the rights to distribute it to somebody else, it's out of your library and you're not getting it back and you're not getting a refund. So I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that ever again. So
that's absolutely true.
Yep. I mean, it's like something you know, but until it actually like I literally go there, I'm like, where is this? I own it. So Anthony.
My number 2, Jimmy and Stiggs.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I can't. There's not much more I can add to what you've already said so eloquently. Yeah, it is a fucking blast. Theatrically, it was amazing, and goddamn, fuck everybody who wasn't in that theater that night, because sitting in that theater solo watching that movie, I mean, it was a hell of a fucking experience. And pre-ordered that bitch as soon as it went up on Vinegar Syndrome. Got that shit on 4K. I've seen it 2 times now since I've had it home, and it still delivers. And goddamn, yeah. So again, movie with heart. It's on the fucking list. Number 2, Jimmy and Stiggs.
I love that it's your number 2. That makes me super fucking happy. John.
My number 2 is Weapons. Was really not surprised that this was a New Line Cinema release, because it took me back to old school New Line horror. It made me feel like I was watching a New Line horror from like the late 80s, but revised for a modern day audience and for modern day sensibilities. Yeah, I just had an absolute blast with this film. I knew that I was going to have a good time, but I didn't really quite know what exactly I was in store for. I loved how the film played around with time and perception, you know, while mixing in all other elements of horror here and there. And all I got to say is, you know, just I'm sure most of the listeners, you know, have seen the film by now, but just in case you haven't, I'll be vague here. Those kids must have had a fucking blast filming like the last 15 minutes of the film.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really interested in. I think your New Line of Days Gone By is like right on the nose. Is there anything specific that you can touch on? Because I'm trying to think of a specific. You're right. I know the vibe, but I can't come up with like a specific example.
Yeah, I mean, it's the vibe where it's like it's not what you're watching, you know, is sort of like it's not trash. It has kind of like, but it does have kind of like the indie vibe, but with like, you know, enough money behind it to where, you know, it can really deliver, you know, on the elements of horror that it set out to deliver by. Like you know, that's like it's almost kind of like it reminds me of like a few months ago when we did like the Carnosaur episode on Elements of Horror, where I said imagine if that had like a modestly higher budget. You know, it's like imagine if like New Line had gotten a hold of that and
Yeah.
backed it to fruition. Um, Towards the end of the 90s, we got Dimension films that this was before they did, you know, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. You know, they had like, you know, the sort of genre movies and you know, lowbrow horror. But New Line Cinema was kind of like really above that. I mean, New Line Cinema did Seven, you know, as well. So it's like it's not, you know, it's not, you know, bottom of the barrel horror that they're doing by any stretch. A lot of people forget like they did the original Nightmare on Elm Street as a New Line release.
I definitely associate New Line with Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know if they how many they did, but that's the first thing that springs to mind with New Line.
Yeah.
Motherfucking Blade, when you see that New Line logo come up and it's red, I'm like, yes.
Oh
Nice.
my
Yeah.
God, yes.
Love that.
Yes.
Yes.
Love that.
Missy.
My number 2 is Dust Bunny. Right after you guys covered it, that week the universe gave me a gift and snuck in one screening at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on my day off, and I got a whole theater to myself. This movie is beautiful. It looks and feels like a fairy tale, and think more like stuff like Boys and Trees or Big Fish, but it's weird and wonderful and immersive. And I mean, the bond between Sophie Sloane, who plays the little girl, and Mads Mikkelsen is fantastic. Sigourney Weaver is super fun. I love everything about this movie, and it just made me really, really happy. And it's absolutely worth checking out. It's unique. There's not, like, I can't straight up compare it to anything, but it's special, and don't look into it, just watch it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I really like this movie. It was hard not putting it on my top 10, but my top 10 was kind of like it's done. uh Great movie. Ray.
Uh, so my number 2 is gonna be Dream Eater, or as it was theatrically put out, Eli Roth presents Dream Eater, which is not to say that Eli Roth had a hand in actually making this film. He was just the producer of the film. It was, I think, the second film in his new production company where he's just honestly, I think he kind of attached his name, if I've heard about this correctly, because he saw it, he saw it on some festival circuit, he liked it, and he went to them and was like, "Hey, I'd like to release this film," and uh, he hoped that getting his name attached to it would get people out in the theaters to
Yeah.
see it, and it's just a great little movie that could. It's a great story. It's strong. It's only got a cast of maybe 4 people, and 2 of them are Zoom calls. So it's actually just these 2 people that are running this film all on their own. I mean, I don't know if I don't think I've talked about it here, but like everyone that I've mentioned it to, like it was made for like only like $100,000. It was shot with a crew of 8 people over 9 days. And the 2 film stars are actually 2 of the directors of the film, in addition to a third person. And the reason they started in the film was not like any kind of ego or anything like that. It was just they had no budget, and they were like, some of this is going to be physically demanding. How do we get actors to do this? And one of the 2 of the directors went, well, let's just make it with us starring.
Yeah.
Let's just star in the film. And they do a fine, competent job. Like, it doesn't seem like, you see movies where you're watching and you're like, oh my God, have these people acted before? Where they're just delivering like lines wooden as hell. And like, boy, what is wrong with you right now? You seem so weirded out. Like, you're like, God damn, like, no, that's not the case. Like, it feels like you're just watching this couple go through something very hard. And it's a great little movie. It's fantastic. Like, I have talked to so many people and said, like, go check it out, go check it out. And like now it's out there on streaming, and go rent it. I don't know when it's going to be available for like an like non-rental situation, but it's a great little movie. Like, I honestly, hope that lots more people get a chance to see it, because I want these three people to go off and get a bigger budget and go make more movies. Because if this is what they did with $100,000, a crew of 8 over 9 days, I would love to see what they could do with more money, because man, they did a great job and made a great little movie.
Nice. Yeah, I'm glad I forgot about this movie. So I'm gonna rent that soon because yeah, I want to contribute to the coffers for these folks. You spoke very highly of it, and I wanted to see it at Beyond Fest, but I didn't make it to Beyond Fest. So
I wanted to too, but yeah, it was one of the films that, like, the tickets went fast at Beyond Fest, and I know it's been doing well on the festival circuit. When I saw it, I think there was maybe one other person in the theater at the AMC that I went to. But it is one of the things that I think is going to help it too, is that it is a movie that, like, a lot of, like, what do you want to call it? Horror influencers, I guess is the term. People who, like, you make those like TikToks and reels. So it's like, here's my top 25, top, like, scary movies, or like, this movie terrified me. Like, almost all of them that I know of and have seen have talked about this film and like talked about how creepy and scary they thought it was. And I think it's definitely something that could push, because I know people see those things and go, oh, let's go see this movie. I'll check this out now.
good. Where are we at here for me? So this is my number 7. This was I believe, January or February release that has not. I mean, it was number 1 for a while, but it has not fallen super far. This Steven Soderbergh's Presence. This movie. I mean, one of the things, Soderbergh is extremely prolific. I like everything I've ever seen, but I haven't seen nearly all of his films. Never realized before he's also his own cinematographer, which makes perfect sense. And this movie is from the perspective of a ghost, but I'll just tell you, this movie deeply affected me, and it had very little to do with the ghost. Dark movie, but not in a way, like, I don't know. It was, man, very, very impressive film. So yeah, Steven Soderbergh's Presence, that was my number 7.
So this movie, it is horror then, because I'd heard about it, but I'd heard about it as being more of a thriller.
Look, I mean, we had somebody comment on our Frankenstein episode, like, kind of a stretch calling this horror. So, and I won't let that person live it down, because I just feel like I don't know. I mean, really, I mean, at the end of the day, is anything that's not fucking Terrifier horror anymore? So it just depends on your definition. But I mean, to me, all of these are horror movies. So it is a thriller, but it's from the perspective of ghosts. There's a haunting involved, but I don't know. Yeah, it's Soderbergh's first, as far as I know, first foray into this. So whether it's elements of horror or horror adjacent, I don't fucking know, but it's on my list, and I love it. Not to dismiss your question, I'm just my frustration is more with the, it's more with the, like, kind of environment of, like, is this horror? Is it not horror? It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. But it is worth your fucking time. Man.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll check it out. It's fun. There's something that's percolating.
Very good film. Anthony, numero uno.
The Filippo brothers strike again. It's Bring Her Back, and nothing has been as grim as that experience was, and unnerving, and at times terrifying. There may be one honorable mention, and I'll get to that later on, that kind of takes me there, but this movie just, I don't know, it fucked me up, and I like that. Like I said, touch me somewhere gross, above the equator, please. And yeah, I fucking loved it. I mean, if you want to hear more about it, go back and listen to our episode that we did on it. In fact, go back and listen to all the episodes that we did on all these films that we're talking about right now. You'll love it.
I'll put links in, but they only let me put in 5 links, so I'll space them out. But
do the Pornhub ones. That's fine. but bring her
Those
back.
are on our Patreon.
Right? Yeah, but bring her back. It's just nothing has come close uh, at this point. You know, at the end of the year, it's still just towers over the rest, in my opinion. And yeah, number one, Filippo Brothers, bring her back.
Well said. John, numero uno.
My number one is also Bring Her Back. This, yeah, like Anthony, this film gave me the bad touch, and it was had to have like an unnerving theatrical experience. That's something special. And with Talk to Her, I mean, I knew that these were filmmakers to watch and that they understood the genre in a very unique way and in a way that was not only terrifying but also sort of defamiliarized the way you feel about friendship and familial relations and loss in ways that kind of rival, like a lot of Hereditary almost. And yeah, this was just not only a very, very pleasant surprise, but probably one of my favorite theatrical experience of this year that wasn't an older movie.
Right on.
Well said, man.
Yeah, very. Both you guys. Missy, numero uno.
The Long Walk. The Long Walk is one of my favorite Stephen King books. He's my favorite writer. I've been waiting for this movie since I read that book when I was in high school. And it didn't disappoint me. I mean, I think it's the best adaptation of a Stephen King story out there, except, I mean, it might be even with Dr. Sleep, but
Whoa, what about Langoliers?
we don't speak of that.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
That movie
Fine,
does
Tommy
not
Knockers
exist.
it is.
What about that movie with like the killer soda machine?
Maximum Overdrive is one of my favorite movies, but that's
For different reasons.
different. Right, different. The Long Walk was everything I wanted it to be and more. It's beautiful, it's brutal, it captures the beauty and the ugliness, the strength to keep on going even when you have no fight left, and the strength of the bonds we form. It captures the heart of the story, even though there are changes, and I think it's freaking amazing. I love it.
Yeah, this was the most, man, there's a year for profound experiences, but this was a super profound experience for me as well. And like I had mentioned, like it just, my girlfriend was inconsolable for like a couple hours after seeing it. Ray, numero uno.
For me, it's gonna be Sinners. Um, it surprised the hell out of me. I still remember, when I went to go see it. I just had the time, and I just was like, oh, let's go check this out on a Thursday afternoon. And the day it opened, and I had a theater that was just like me and maybe like two or three other people, and I was just blown away by it from the get go. Like it's so much that's right about that movie. Like the direction, the acting, the soundtrack is fucking amazing. And it just hits on so many cylinders. It's such a good film. And I was so impressed because Coogler's never done horror. And like he just came in and did it so well. So I'm hoping that he has more ideas and he wants to make more things and put more, stories like that out, like more in that direction. Because man, it's just a great film. Like I've told many people to go see it. I got my mother to sit down and watch it with me, and she liked
Oh, that's
it.
cool.
So it's a great movie. Very entertaining, and I love that version of vampires. Like there's just something that works so well about those glowing eyes, and it's all different colors of eyes. It's not just like one color. Like every character gets their own color of these glowing eyes that is just so unnerving, and it's I love that film. And the sound, like I said, the soundtrack's amazing.
Would you say that if we took the glowing eyes thing and expanded it to make sparkly vampires, would that be better or worse, do you think? I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding,
no
obviously.
sparkly vampires. For God's
Obviously, I'm
sakes.
kidding. And I'm not drawing any kind of comparison between them because Sinners
No,
is
I
not on
got
my
you.
list, but it was very hard to see it get knocked down the rungs of the ladder, man, because it's fantastic. So, my number 6, Joshua Erkman's A Desert. This was my number 1 for a long fucking time. I mean, I like ambiguity. I like slow burn, whatever you want to call it. This movie is just a descent into the desert. And I mean that literally and also kind of metaphorically. And there's some awful things lurking in this movie, and you will never quite know if you're sure what they are, even after the credits roll. And I just love that. Also, I've said this before, I'm a huge fan of the Jesus Lizard. Best Chicago band of all time, in my opinion. And I just think frontman David Yao has proven himself to be a great actor, and this is the biggest role I've seen him in. I think the biggest role he's had, and he fucking delivers. And so that was just pure joy. But it's a dark little movie, man. And I don't know, it just felt like I had expectations going in. It met all of them, and it feels like this is like watching it at home. I wish I could have saw it on the big screen, but this is like the equivalent of like going in to see the movie and there's like nobody in the fucking theater. Like I have not heard anybody else talk about this movie, and I just think it's outstanding. So yeah, Joshua Erkman's A Desert.
I'd honestly never heard of it until now.
Oh, it's so worth your time. But it's a crawl, man. There's no sprinting, but it's really fucking good. And everybody in it just gives such a great performance. Yeah, so good. So you guys, you want to run off your special mentions or your 6 through 10 or whatever? We'll go around the horn. Anthony?
Yeah, I'm just gonna rally these off real quick. So Sinners is a perfect movie. I can say that. Everybody can say that, and I think that's why it gets removed from the board. It's beautiful. It's everything everybody spoke about this evening, and I love it. I'm glad I have it on 4K, but it wasn't terrifying by any means. But that doesn't mean it's not a solid and, like I said, damn near perfect horror film. So that's on the list. Next up is The Long Walk. Again, horror adjacent in my opinion, but probably one of the most horrifying films that I've seen this year, as far as the limits of the human body being pushed. It's fucking horrific at times. From there, it is a tie between Dangerous Animals. I like aquatic horror, especially sharks and being fed to them. And Strange Harvest. Ray, I was really glad to hear that made your list. I just watched that yesterday, as a matter of fact, for the first time. That is some creepy fucking shit. And I like true crime. So I thought the format for it was perfect. I love the movie. It is highly disturbing. And yeah, I definitely recommend that. Silent Night, Deadly Night remake. I enjoyed it. I had a fun time with it. It's something that I wasn't expecting, and I'm glad that I walked out of that theater smiling with, blood flecks on my face. The last movie I want to talk about is The Monkey. The Monkey is just highly entertaining. It's ridiculous and over the top. And it's, for that reason, it's just one of those crowd pleasers that I could say anybody would enjoy. And those are the last honorable mentions for the year for me.
Right on. John?
I've got 3 honorable mentions. One is a film from this year, and the other were new discoveries that I made this year that were facilitated by both Shudder and You Find Folk. So for 2025, my one honorable mention is Eddington. I have grown that film has grown in my head since seeing it, and I've grown to like it more and more. Is it my favorite Ari Aster film? Hell no, but it's uh, a very fascinating film, and it'll continue to fascinate me for a while. My two favorite discoveries of this year are both British horror films, Neil Marshall's Dog Soldiers and Clive Barker's Nightbreed.
Nice.
The latter, I am so embarrassed that it has taken me this long to watch that film, but I'm glad I finally did.
You found it when you needed it,
You
man.
found it when you needed it.
This is true.
That movie's magic.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it
is.
is. Missy.
All right. My number 6 is Sinners. It's about music and monsters, two of my favorite things. My number 7 is Chuck Russell's Witchboard, which I was lucky enough to see in the theater. It's a reimagining. It's not a straight up remake. It's pretty different. But for everybody watching Stranger Things, Jamie Campbell Bower, who plays Vecna, is the occult doctor in Witchboard, and he steals every scene he's in. My number 8 is Silent Night, Deadly Night. Santa killing Nazis. It's fun.
Yeah.
Number 9 is Weapons, which there's not really anything to say that you guys haven't already mentioned, but it's a good movie and you should check it out. My number 10 is Good Boy. It's DIY filmmaking at its finest. It's one of those movies that reminds me why I love movies. And the dog isn't even an actor. He's the director's dog, and that just makes it even more charming.
Yeah.
And the last movie I want to mention is Wake Up. It was released this year in January, but it's actually a 2023 movie, which is why it doesn't make the list. But it's a really cool indie slasher in like an IKEA kind of store, and it's fun. It's worth checking out.
Nice. I still have to see that. Ray.
I get honorable mentions. The monkey I forgot about, but that was a ton of fun. It's
Yeah, that was
definitely
great.
horror, and it's definitely it's definitely horror, but man, I don't remember quite laughing at a movie as much, like even a comedy, as much as I did that movie in the theater. Like it's just so dark and fucking hilarious. Like it's
Yep.
just so fucked up but funny. It's so good. I actually enjoyed the shit out of Toxic Avenger remake.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
fun little movie. Like it's it somehow like enhances that original story and makes it like somewhat makes it its own while still paying homage, and it just has all these great little background jokes like I said like when we talked about it. And yeah, it's an entertaining movie, kind of like what John was saying, like a movie that like I discovered that's completely new to me, but it was actually from 2023 that I think I brought up with the group, was this movie I caught on streaming called the Seating, which is this great little low burn movie. And and the thing is that it has the poster art that you see on streaming online. It looks like it's an 80s movie, but it's not. And it just, I don't feel like it does the movie like the decency that it deserves. It's a slow burn, but it was pretty damn good. It was pretty solid. And it's definitely worth checking out. It's on several streaming services, and it's just worth your time.
Yeah, I had forgotten you had mentioned it to me. I forgot all about that movie, and it looks like that is also something that was like finished in 2023 and probably did a little festival circuit and then found distribution this year. So I'll definitely add that to my list. I see what you mean about the cover art. The cover art actually would pique my interest, but I know what you mean for sure. It almost looks more like a 1987 paper mass market paperback horror book than it does like a movie from 2025.
Yeah, yeah. It
Which
get very
isn't
much.
to me that's a draw, but not to everybody.
No, I get what you mean, but it just has that quality. Like the poster has this quality to me of like of like the movie Mutant. If you've ever
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
that, like
yeah. I can
it
see
has
that.
this like crazy mutant cloud thing in and then when you see the movie, you're like, wait, everyone turns into these weird pale zombies with like uh acid coming out of their hands. What? Like you're just like, what the hell? Like it's kind of like the poster art for what's the other movie? Chopping Mall. Like Chopping Mall,
Yeah,
the it promises to be such a gorier movie, and then when you see it, you're like, oh, this is not the movie.
yeah, yeah. Just to round it out, so my top five were Black Phone 2, Long Walk, Frankenstein, Weapons, and Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back. I just glad. Man, I fuck yeah. And I know, like, I don't know. I just thought it was amazing. And then I always go further on my letterbox. That's what I'm going off of. So, like, from my 11 through 16 is The Monkey, Sinners, Toxic Avenger, Him, Grafted, and Abduct. And Abduct, Chris Ridgey. I saw that through the Dread broadcast, and it's a really indie movie, but I had a blast with it. I thought it was great. So that I believe it's on Prime. I forget if it's included or not. It might be, but it's definitely worth your time. It's a cool little movie. So that's our 2025, folks. A lot of good recommendations, and I feel like there's a consensus about what the best, it's not, there's no accident, right? That a lot of the top fives are going to line up.
It didn't surprise me that Bring Her Back was on so many number ones.
Ah, bring her
I
back.
I will say if we're doing like biggest disappointment of 2025, Miles, sorry you're gonna hate me for this if you're listening, but yeah, 28 years later wins that award. I'm still gonna see 28 years later Bone Thugs and Harmony or whatever it's called. But I but still, I mean, yeah, 28 years later, yeah, such a disappointment. There were moments I liked.
I'm suspending my judgment of the movie we got this year until I see all three. And the trailer for the new
Three?
one has me fucking hooked. I've seen it a couple
Mhm.
times. I'm like, it's a great trailer. I'm really interested, but I know what you mean. But also, we're bringing a lot of baggage to this table, right? Like,
Mhm.
based on a great movie we love from 20 something years ago. Like, it's really hard to do that justice and come in winning people over. And everything on the episode that you and Miles did on this movie Saved My Life, which everyone listening should listen to. I mean, just the podcast in general. But all like everything Miles said about it, like gave me a new perspective. And I'm really hoping they re-release 28 years later in the theater before Temple whatever it's called, comes out,
Bone
because I'd
Temple.
love to like piggyback and watch that again. You know,
He does raise a good point that it is kind of, for lack of a better word, it's a convergent point between the zombie genre that we love, or kind of, and and a sticks and stones contender.
yeah. No, it's. I mean, it's. I think it's a great movie, but and there's definitely some like insane innovation going on with it, and also innovation isn't. Oh, it doesn't always sit right the first time through, right? But I'd also just like to point out, because you brought it up, Eddington is by far my favorite overall movie of the year. I feel like, I mean, I just fucking love that movie. But it's like, I would argue that when we covered it, was elements of horror. I forget if I branded it that way. I know I said on Instagram, you could say this isn't a horror movie. You're wrong. It is a horror movie, but it's not. But whatever. But I just took it out of the running because it was going to demolish everything else. So, but yeah, I can only hope. 2025 was weird. It didn't feel like the last 5 or 6 years. It felt like got a couple good things right up front with The Monkey and Presence, and then I just felt like for months it was a fucking slog until Bring Her Back. I saw a bunch of movies I won't mention. I hated a lot of movies I saw in the theater this year in the spring. It was like week after week. Missy and I would do a review, and I would be like the negative Nelly, like, yeah, no. All right, that's 2025. This is a Horror Vision. We're entering 2026. I'm Sean.
I am Anthony, the unblinking eye.
I'm John.
I'm Misty.
And I'm Ray.
When incoming high school senior Lisa McCready's boyfriend and classmates are brutally murdered at a party in the woods, the quiet suburban community of Sundown Hills transforms into a paranoid nightmare. Betrayal, corruption, and dark family secrets push Lisa dead center into a burgeoning class war where rival millionaires plot to steal the town's future between reliance on big oil and the incoming age of legalized weed, electric cars, and social conscience. As she struggles for answers, the killings continue, and Lisa finds the world she knew is little more than a lie to placate the masses and keep a satanic 1% in power. From the demented mind of Sean C. Baker, author of Murder Virus, A Collection of Desires, and Volume 4, comes Black Gloves and Broken Hearts, Teenage Giallo Mystery, available now.